It is 2 July 2016, and we've got this 6-foot wide opening here to what in the original house was probably a den, add-in room. It used to have a fireplace over there. That plate right there is actually where the stove pipe or fireplace vent went up. I guess it probably had a wood-burning stove. At any rate, this is now kind of bedroom slash living room slash computer room, and so this is where kind of our really our master bedroom is now. But again, there's no door. There's just this 6-foot opening, and we've got some company coming that's going to have small kids, and we need some place to be able to hide all the guitars and the guns and knives and everything else that a 3 or 4 or 5-year-old might get into. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a big sliding door that can go back and forth here. So when we don't have company, it'll slide back and we'll be up against this wall. Normally this wall has this desk thing in it up against there, and so we're just going to scoot it out enough to be able to clear the door, so the door will slide back. And again, we'll be behind this desk most of the time, so you'll never really see it or notice it. And then if we have company where we need to close this off, this will just slide over and cover our 6-foot opening here. So to do that, we got some rail here, and you can see it's got that tab there, which is going to need to be mounted to a 2x4, which will then be mounted to the wall, and then we got these rollers. We got this roller here with a bracket on it, and these will go into this rail, slide back and forth, and then we're going to get some old barn wood, which we'll mount to these things, so that we'll build a wooden door out of the old barn wood so it'll match the rest of the house. And again, just slide back over there, slide it back over here when we need to close that off. So our first task is to get this rail mounted to the board and the board mounted to the wall. Alright, so we got this the beam and the board up there. We attached the door track to the 2x4 first, and then we put it up there, and I've got 4 long lag bolts that go into a beam stud behind the wall, and then we're gonna I don't like the sturdiness of it right now, so we're going to try to put some more screws into it, which is going to mean drilling some holes through that track. But at least that way we'll make sure it doesn't fall down. Alright, so I want to put some anchor in at the top of this board so it holds a little bit better. So what we're doing is we're drilling this small, we're using a drill bit here that is bigger than the shaft of the screws that we're going to use, and I'm drilling through the front and the back side of this metal, and I got the drill is set to where it just goes through both sides, so I'm not drilling out too much into the wood. And then I'm coming back after I drill the hole through both sides with this bit. I'm putting this bit in and just drilling through the front side, so that when I put the screw in, it's going to go through here, right? It'll fit through this hole, but the head won't fit through the back hole. So the screw will go through and be like this, to where it's holding that rail onto this 2x4, and we'll actually probably get some longer ones. Actually, this screw here is long enough to go into the wall behind it, so that's what we want to do. Alright, so we're going to take these trolleys. Alright, so we're going to take a 6-foot piece of 2x4 and attach it between these 2 points. These are only going to be about 5 foot apart, so we'll have half an inch or 6 inches sticking out on either side. That way it'll cover this 6 foot, but these won't go off the track. And then we might even put these about 4 foot apart, and then just have a foot stick out on either end for the 6-foot door. That's probably what we'll do. And then we'll just attach our barn board to this, and we'll put another 2x4 down on the bottom to keep the boards from swinging around this way. And that should finish it up. Alright, so we got a 6-foot long board. These things here are centered 12 inches in, top and bottom. And so we've got to put this up in the railing. On that end, we wouldn't be able to squeeze it in, but I think we got 6 feet on this end, so we're just going to stick it there and then run it down. If we didn't have room on either end, we would just have to put these on, put the rollers on the rail, and then attach the board afterwards. But we should be good to go this way. It's going. Alright, hang on. Let's wait a little bit. There we go. Got it. Got it? Alright, so we got this up in here, and this will roll. We want this end here to be able to cover up right here, but of course we don't want it to fall off the track, so that's why this is a foot in. this could go all the way down to there before we start running the risk of coming off. And we'll probably just mount a little board there so that in case you were rolling this, it would hit that board and stop and not roll off the track. And then down here on this end, we got the same issue. We'll just put a board down there, keep that from rolling off that end also. This right here, we'll attach our barn board to it, and then to cover up this 6-foot opening. So that's the next step, is to start cutting the barn board, and then we'll start screwing it on here. All right, it's Sunday, 3 July, day 2 of our project here with the door. Yesterday, I got all these barn boards cut to length, and we got enough of them there to cover 6 foot of width. And since this board here will be showing, Lori's in the process of staining it so that it blends in with the woodwork a little bit better. And not sure what we're going to do with the metal rail. Maybe leave it up there. May end up making a little box to kind of cover it or something. We'll see how that works later. Looks like Lori's looking to see if she can stain it. It does make it a little bit more darker, but at any rate,
not so shiny.
So once she's done staining that, we'll take these barn boards here and we'll start attaching them to our header board up here to make the door. Alright, so Lori's got this stained up here. We're going to start attaching these boards like this. We laid one of these boards down on the floor, which will give us about a 1-inch gap clearance. We're going to attach this first one and slide it back and forth and make sure that it doesn't bind up on the floor anywhere, because this house is not built square. So even though we got this rail level, that doesn't mean the floor is level too. So we'll attach one, check it, make sure that this length will work all the way back and forth. So that's our first task, is to get this first one attached. Apparently the engineers that designed this bracket were asshats, and this sticks out a little bit further than the width of a 2x4, which you would assume would be the standard dimension to be attaching something on here. It would be a 2x. So what we had to do is go out and put a groove.
Okay.
And put a groove in this board so that that bracket will fit up in there and the board will be flat. Again, I don't know why they would make it slightly larger than a 2x4, but they did. Alright, so we got all our boards attached up on top. They're not attached to the bottom yet, so they swing here, but we're going to check it and make sure it goes all the way up and down. And it does, so we're good. We'll attach that board on the bottom, and this will be done. Alright, so we got another 6-foot 2x4 here. We're going to put across the bottom like this, but on the inside. And so what we're going to do is we got a couple paint cans we're going to use just to kind of as spacers. We'll lay this down. We'll clamp it on to these boards. And then since we want the screws to be on the outside here, once we got this clamped on, we'll just go down here and start screwing the boards onto this board that's clamped. Alright, so that's it. We got a door. Push back. Out of the way. This cabinet stuff will cover it up. And if we need to, back. We'll have Lori put a handle, farm gate handle or something on there. Move this clamp. And I roll out and hide our bedroom back there, keep kids out of it. Alright, I went out and I found a couple pieces of old cedar, and we just drilled some holes in them so we can put some screws in, and we'll put those up as blocks at the end of the door, so that way it won't slide off the track either way. I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Alright, a note on these blocks. I took these blocks of cedar, which should look halfway decent up there, and I drilled 2 holes in them. These holes here need to be bigger than the head of the screw that you're going to use, so that they drop right in there. And then there's a small hole I drilled for the shaft to go through, so you want to be able to drop these things in there, and then I'm going to have that much of the screw sticking out to go into the wall. If you don't do that, you're going to play hell trying to get a screw to go all the way through that thickness of wood without stripping out your Phillips head on the screw. So again, just pre-drill those. Big hole goes about that way through the wood, and then leave about that much with a little hole, and put them on the wall. Alright, so we got our stop up there, and we got another stop up over here. So when you slide the door down, it will eventually hit that stop and keep it from coming off the rail. And that's all it needs to do. And we hit the ladder. There we go. Alright, so Laura's getting all our electronic stuff hooked back up. Again, you can see we got this this desk thing here, and the barn board door is now behind that. So you can see we got the wall, and then we got our big 6-foot door, and then we got our desk. So we only lost, I don't know, I got 3X hands, but we only lost maybe 5 or 6 inches there of space out this way, and we got plenty of space there, so that's not a problem. And again, when we have kids over that we need to keep out away from the guitars and the guns and the machetes and anything else that they could destroy or be destroyed by, we can just unplug our outlet there and roll that door out across, and we'll be good to go. So, the end.